Let's continue our series looking at the historical reliability of the Old Testament in the Bible. Now let's move on to the period of the Babylonian conquest of Jerusalem in 586 BC and the 70-year exile in the post-exilic period. These two tablets have been found in Babylon that confirm the names and royal offices of two officials of Nebuchadnezzar named Nebuzaradan, the chief eunuch, and Nebuzaradan, the captain of the bodyguard, both of whom are listed in Jeremiah 39 as being present at the fall of Jerusalem. Many seals and bullae have been found dating to this time right before Jerusalem was destroyed. For example, these seals, whose names match people mentioned in that time period by the prophet Jeremiah: Gemariah, the son of Shaphan; Elshama, the servant of the king; and from Ezra, Azariah, son of Hilkiah. Another one, the Bible says in 2 Kings 24 and 25 that King Jehoiakim was captured by the king of Babylon and was brought as a prisoner to Babylon, but was eventually released from prison with a food ration. In 1939, a tablet was found by archaeologists near the Ishtar Gate in Babylon that lists the rations that were given to various captured kings. Sure enough, King Jehoiakim of Jerusalem was listed there, of Judah, was listed there with his ration of oil, along with his sons. Now, another very important one, Daniel. So, Daniel chapter 5 tells the story of Belshazzar, the last king of Babylon. During his banquet, a hand suddenly appeared and wrote text on the wall. The king asked Daniel to interpret the text and offered to make him the third highest ruler of the land. But all other historians from 100 years later and so on, like Herodotus, who wrote about Babylonian history, said that Nabonidus was the last king of Babylon. So critics said the Bible was wrong about Belshazzar. But in 1854, 4 cuneiform cylinders were found by archaeologists in Babylon, which contain a prayer by Nabonidus for his son Belshazzar. So Belshazzar was a co-regent ruling Babylon for about 10 years while Nabonidus was away with some mental health problems. He was kind of on long-term leave, long-term sabbatical. He left the city of Babylon to be ruled by Belshazzar. So that's why Belshazzar offered Daniel the position of third highest ruler, because Belshazzar was technically the second highest. And this also shows that Daniel was written at that time in the 6th century BC, because all the later Greek historians had forgotten about Belshazzar. So Daniel's prophecies about Greece and Rome were real prophecies, not just retrodicted after the fact. 25 years later, around 1880, another clay tablet from the antiquities market provided more information about Nabonidus. This is called the Nabonidus Chronicle. Now, Ezra chapter 1 through 4, and 2 Chronicles 36, 23 through 23 say that Cyrus the Great, the Persian king, let the Jews return home to Jerusalem, Judah. However, 19th century critics said this was a mistake. A 6th century BC emperor would never do that. But in 1879, a clay cylinder was found by archaeologists in Nineveh. King Cyrus II was boasting here about how he returned many former inhabitants back to their homelands and returned idols back to their temples and so on. It was one of the first times that a nation officially allowed freedom of religion, in some sense, and the cylinder was declared by the United Nations in 1971 to be an ancient declaration of human rights. Cyrus was actually also prophesied by name in Isaiah chapter 45, 200 years before he lived, where God said through the prophet Isaiah that he raised up Cyrus as his chosen anointed ruler. All right, so it's time to summarize. We've seen evidence across many centuries supporting the Bible's reliability. Just about every Old Testament book that includes some historical narrative has some archaeological or ancient literary corroboration of some kind. In the words of archaeologist Nelson Glueck, no archaeological discovery has ever controverted a single biblical reference. Scores of archaeological findings have been made which confirm in clear outline or exact detail historical statements in the Bible. And by the same token, proper evaluation of biblical descriptions have often led to amazing discoveries. End quote. Here are 12 of my current favorites, as I've mentioned in some of these videos, but let me know in the comments which are your favorites. I've tried to skip the more doubtful artifacts. I will include some links in the description to some of those if you want to check them out. And of course, I'll put lots of extra links in the description. You can check out the videos, the books, the articles. Hope you enjoy learning more about these things. Keep on trusting the Bible, and let's see what new archaeological findings will find next and confirm the Bible and so on. And let's keep trusting the God of the Bible and looking ahead to the New Testament, where we learn about Jesus. the Son of God who came and loved us and died for us and rose up from the grave. Here are a few additional resources which I would encourage you to check out.